A few weeks ago, I was working with a group of people that I was providing the sound system, our sound stage and microphones, and I was helping to MC the event and also shooting video for the live stream of the event. And one of the performers was supposed to be up next, and the whole program got delayed because of my interaction with him. Today, I want to talk about the core value of responsibility. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. This young man showed up at the event with the intention, with the direction, in fact, the invitation. The whole reason he came to the event was so that he could stand on my stage, use my microphone, and perform his song for the crowd. Now, he had been invited by one of the organizers of the event, one of the sponsors of the event, one of the guys who had banners and signs up everywhere and was endorsing this young man and his talent. But apparently, he only invited him the day before, which didn't give enough prepared time. And then he picked him up like 2 hours before the event. He didn't have enough prepared time to really get ready to perform. Really? See, that was kind of the story. In front of the entire crowd, with a microphone in his hand, he made excuse after excuse after excuse about why he couldn't perform. He wanted me to plug in his phone and play his music through the sound system that way, which if it's his music and it's his phone, I got no problem doing that. But if you've got some kind of strange jack on the bottom of your phone, you're the one responsible for bringing the pigtail to do that. I shouldn't know to show up with every adapter for everybody's device in order to do this event. If I'd been told, hey, you need to be prepared for this and this and this and this and this, yes, but that's not what I was told to do. In fact, I wasn't told, as the person providing the sound system, that there would be any musical live performances. Wasn't what I came set up to do. I came to bring the stage, to bring microphones to MC, and to bring cameras to live stream. That's what I brought. So who's responsible for him being prepared to sing? Now, the real irony was, after we kind of went through this process a little bit, and we tried to find all the different options, I got him to airdrop his song from one device to my iPad, and I had 2 iPads streaming, and one of them has a regular old-fashioned headphone jack, and I was able to play it from there. The real funny thing was, he didn't remember me enough to know, and I wasn't the one who handled it last time. But about a year ago, at another public event, the same sponsor brought the same guy to sing a song. And when he told me what his song was, I realized my son had already downloaded it into our system and already had the background track of 4 of this young man's songs already in our system, ready to be played. None of that came up. He never said, hey, I think we've worked together before. I think your son may have that song. I think I gave it to him before. Instead, he asked me to play a CD or play it from his phone, but he didn't have a USB drive and he didn't have it in a Dropbox, and there was no way to get to it. But when he stood in front of the crowd with a mic in his hand and made excuse after excuse after excuse about why he showed up without music and why he didn't bring a USB drive and why he didn't have a CD to play it from and why he didn't have any way to play it himself and he didn't have the right connections, I stopped him and I said, hang on. It may be true that you only got the invitation yesterday, but this is what you do. Yes. It may be true that you only picked up 2 hours ago to be here. And that's true and that's fair. But if you continue to live your life blaming everybody else for why you failed, you're giving the power to your life over to somebody else, which means you don't have any control of your life. You don't have any control of the outcome of your life. And if you continue to do that, because you're 19 now, you continue to do that, you're going to find yourself living a life you don't want because you've handed over control of your life to everybody else. By blaming them, you've given them power to make the decisions that only you should have the power to make. And I'm going to challenge you right now at 19 years old. Take responsibility for the outcomes in your life. Take control of everything you can control. If I was invited to go perform somewhere and I knew there was a chance that my music was going to be highlighted in front of somebody else, I wouldn't leave home without it on a USB drive. It would be on my keychain, in my pocket, 24/7, always ready. I would have it in a Dropbox that if there's Wi-Fi access, I can get it there. I'd have every track on my phone ready to email or AirDrop or whatever. because I wouldn't take a chance of being in a place to have an opportunity and not be prepared for that opportunity. I learned from John Maxwell, and I've heard Dean Graziosi yesterday called it the success tax, when he said we often find ourselves in that place where we've succeeded and others look at us and think, well, it must have come easy for you. Lucky you. What they don't see is the other part of the iceberg. So much more under the surface of the water. So much more that we had to put into it. So many more hours that we had to dig in. See, I'm a long way from where I want to be, but I'm also a long way from where I was. I've got a lot more ahead of me, and I've got a lot behind me. When John Maxwell said, understand that luck, or what people perceive to be luck, is actually just an intersection. And it's an intersection of preparedness and opportunity. When the opportunity crossed the path of this young man to stand on the stage in front of a crowd of people with the mic in his hand and demonstrate his capacity, his artistry, his talent, with music that he created, the only thing standing in his way was preparedness. Now, if his preparedness met his opportunity, luck could be on the other side of that. And I think it's true for everyone. If we are responsible for our own lives, responsible for our own outcomes, not blaming, not casting blame, not shifting blame, but taking responsibility for everything we can possibly control. Taking that responsibility, making that a core value in our lives. The success tax sits behind responsibility. If you're responsible for when you get out of bed and when you eat and when you work and how much time you work and how hard you work and what are you going to do about a side hustle and what are you going to do about putting a little extra money aside and a little extra money in an education fund and a little extra money in a vacation fund, who's responsible for that? You are. Nobody else. But if you're prepared in that way, when an opportunity comes for the right job and you've done the education work, luck, right? It looks like luck, but it's actually just the results of being prepared when opportunity comes. And that's responsibility. You're responsible for that. Nobody can do it to you. Nobody can do it for you. Just like the self-discipline of somebody else doing your push-ups. It ain't going to happen. We're going to talk about preparedness at another time, but I want you to understand that responsibility is a core value. And if you don't prioritize that core value of being responsible, you're giving away the control of your own life, your own destiny. Leaders of every level are responsible for the outcomes in their own life. You can't control every event, but you can change how you respond to it. You're responsible for that. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.